god. What did I just watch? It wasn't a fucking Die Hard movie, I'll tell you that right now. Okay. I just got back from watching Die Hard 5, and I have not been this mad, angry, or distraught about a movie since the remake of Total Recall. And I'll give the remake of Total Recall credit where credit is due. The CG and the futuristic world that they created reminded me a lot of Blade Runner. The movie's horrible, but I'll give it that. This movie is one of the worst action movies I have ever seen. Forget the fact that it's supposed to be a Die Hard movie. A Die Hard movie. The first Die Hard is considered to be, if not the, one of the greatest action movies of all time. It set the standard for what we consider an action movie. John McClane is one of the most well-known movie characters from the 80s and 90s, okay? He's a smart-ass, wise-aleck cop who is always in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's a human being. If you really think about Die Hard, the first one, and I love all of them, except this one. I even like the fourth one, the unrated version. But throughout, we'll just say the first three, because the fourth one's really kind of not exactly like a Die Hard movie, but it's good enough. It's not a bad movie. It's watchable. Throughout the first three films, like I just said, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's just a cop. He's a very smart cop. He's again a wise ass. But you relate to him. Unlike a lot of the 80s movies like Rambo, Commando, your typical Arnold or Stallone movies, which have their own place in cinema history, you know, when you think of Die Hard, you think of just your basic guy who you can relate to. You know, in the first in all of the movies, John McClane gets hurt. You know, he gets cut, he gets broken, he gets bruised. He by the end of the movies, he's done. You know, he needs a vacation. You know, when John McClane fights, he's a smartass. He says things. His mannerisms are funny as hell, and again, make you believe in the character like he's a human being.
I know what a TV dinner feels like.
In this movie, he might as well be a fucking superhero. The man is indestructible. But I'll get on that later. So I typed up a list here because there were so many things I hate about this movie. Let's start with what makes the Die Hard series memorable, or partly memorable, are the villains. You got Hans Gruber, you got Simon, you got Colonel Stewart. Those three guys, I mean, look, Colonel Stewart, he crashed a fucking airplane full of women and children, innocent people, okay? The man was nuts, okay?
Watch this. Give me a flight number, one that's low on fuel. Atta boy, we've got you. We've got you. We've got you.
Simon was not as nuts. He's not a monster. He's a soldier. You know, he didn't blow up the school. He didn't hurt kids. He killed a few people. But if you watch the movie, when he takes over the bank, he puts he puts people to sleep. You know, he injects them with stuff, makes them pass out. He kills a couple of the security guards. But what are you gonna do?
Oh, I think we'd go straight to the withdrawal. Danke very.
Hans Gruber, one of the most memorable villains of all time. Badass, okay? He killed Takagi, he took over a building, he was going to end up killing the hostages in the end. Of course, played by Alan Rickman. His actual first major performance in Western, you know, Hollywood movies, whatever you want to say.
Find the bag, Fritz. Go ahead, Lily. We must have the detonators.
The people in this movie, they're just scumbags. That's it. Nothing special. Hell, you can't even really pick a main villain. You got the dancing guy, you got the chick, and you got the general or political leader who ends up being also a bad guy. It's stupid. It's not even worth my fucking time to go over. Long story short, there is no real villain in this movie. They're not memorable. That's it. Not even worth my time. What else? Oh, shaky cam. The very first shot of John McClane is him at a shooting range at a police station, getting a good grouping. Alright, cool. We haven't seen John in a while after the events of the last film. Alright. The fucking camera, I don't know what the fuck was going on with whoever the hell shot this or edited it, but this is what the movie looked like. I'm not exaggerating. Go see the movie for yourself just for this part, right? That's what it looked like. Like, not, like, you know how if you watch Battlestar Galactica or current shows where they have that shaky cam when it pans back and forth to people, it's not like it's on a track. It's not like it's on a dolly. It's like it's being held by someone in real life, like you're part of the show. Because when you stand there and look at people, you're not, you know, perfectly moving around. So I can appreciate in shows that do that, like Battlestar Galactica, The West Wing. A lot of shows these days I don't watch, but that's bullshit. That was so distracting. It's primarily in the beginning of the movie, but it stays in through the whole film. Amateur hour. Bullshit. Retarded. Moving on. Like I said before, John McClane is no longer John McClane. I'm going to read a passage here, or a quote, that pretty much sums up my feelings, but I'm not that great of a writer, so here we go. The first Die Hard distinguished itself from the glut of action movies released in the 80s by offering a tough but reliable and relatable protagonist who seemed like a real human being. But, in A Good Day to Die Hard, the qualities that made John McClane an actual three-dimensional character have been stripped away, leaving us feeling as if we were watching Bruce Willis in a Bruce Willis movie, in a Bruce Willis can't survive anything while taking out the villains, video game style kind of way. McClane suffers injuries grievous enough to kill him dozens of times over, basically falling through 3 stories, broken glass, jumping through windows. And I'm not talking about, like, in the first Die Hard, when he's on top of the building and he uses the fire hose to swing in the building, you know, he has to shoot the glass and then kick through it, because it's fucking building glass. It's thick. And when he busts through it, he's all fucking cut up. He's hurting. No, not in this movie. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my feelings of what John McClane used to be and what he now is. Just your stereotypical run-of-the-mill action hero who can survive anything. And just like in Call of Duty, when the bad guys keep running into a doorway, John McClane is sitting there with a fucking M60 or some other goddamn belt-fed machine gun, just laying waste for literally a good 2 minutes on screen. And instead of setting up positions and flanking him, the bad guys literally just keep running into the doorway. I fucking laughed my ass off in anger and frustration, not like it was actually supposed to be funny. I couldn't believe it. What's next? What's next on my list? Oh, radiation. Yeah, they go to Chernobyl. Don't ask me why. I guess there's a vault there that has where they needed a key to open the vault to get the shit that the bad guys wanted. Who gives a fuck? Long story short, Chernobyl is still very radioactive. I mean, you could stand there for a second and walk away and probably be okay, but if you get long exposure, you're screwed, to my extent, my knowledge. Yeah, I guess they have this this machine that gets rid of radiation, trust me, which is what the chick says. They're like, what is this, an anti-radiation machine? And she's like, it will work, trust me. So, okay, I'll buy that. For that little section of the area that they went to, like the vault, that's what they used it for. And then they put the suits back on when they walk away. John McClane and his son, Jack! Which, that's all he fucking says in the movies. Jack! Or Christ, or Jesus! Or fuck! He doesn't even say fuck like John McClane does in the other movies, you know, when he's like, motherfucker! You know, like when he's fighting someone. Doesn't do that. But, basically, at the end of the movie, Jack and John fall into a pool in this building. So it's probably like a hotel or something. But, it's rainwater, which they clearly say. But it's been building up there for years and years and years. It has to be radioactive. They even make a point at the end of the movie. John McClane's like, I'm not gonna grow a third arm, am I? And Jack's like, no, it's just rainwater. It's fine. Yeah, it's rainwater that's falling through a building, dripping into a pool over the course of however many years Chernobyl's been inactive. That's a radioactive wasteland. I'm pretty sure you're fucked over. Okay. Die Hard 6. John McClane grows a third fucking arm. The soundtrack. Those of you that watch my channel and are subscribed to me know that I really, really love and appreciate and collect soundtracks. And the Die Hard series is no that that's not the Die Hard series is no exception. I have all of them. The first film set the standard for the series. The second film, the third film, they all have their own versions of it, but the Die Hard motif, the main theme, is still there and it's used. Die Hard 4 even did it, which I really appreciate. I like the fact that it reminded me of a Die Hard movie because of the music. Not in this one. They have like one cue and it's barely noticeable. That's it. That's it. I literally just downloaded the soundtrack just to skip through the part, like different tracks to see if I could find the theme. It's in one track. The rest of it's just your basic stereo action movie bullshit. That's it. The ending to this movie, I sat there with just slack jaw in awe. Literally, they defeat the bad guys, they get in the plane, they go home, and they meet up with Lucy, the chick who played Lucy from the last movie, his sister, yeah, his daughter. They all smile and they're laughing, and then it literally freezes on an image of the three of them, John, Jack, and Lucy. It fades to black, and then comes on the credits. You know, I can't even begin to... It's not a Die Hard movie. If you took out John McClane and left in Bruce Willis and literally called it something else, and instead of saying John McClane or Jack, it's Bob, would have been its own movie. I'm very disappointed in this film, and I knew going into it was going to be bad. The Cinema Snob, people online that I follow, I read reviews. I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it would be this bad. It literally has tarnished the Die Hard name. It's really sad that it's come down to this point where the movie's an hour and a half and is this bad. You know, there's nothing memorable about this movie. Every other Die Hard movie has something memorable, whether it's Hans Gruber, whether it's the taxi chase in Die Hard 3, whether it's the whole, you know, shootout on the airfield in Die Hard 2, the fourth movie, the F-35, as almost superhuman as that is, the way John does it, okay, I can, you know, he's driving the truck, alright, this was not a Die Hard movie. I'm having a very hard time putting my thoughts to words right now. Number one, because I'm tired, but number two, just because there was so much that just wasn't good about this movie. It's Die Hard. Come on, it put Fox on the map back in the 80s. It put Bruce Willis on the map. Yeah, he was popular beforehand, but that really cemented himself in the action movie world. I mean, it's supposed to be... It's not that hard to make a Die Hard movie. You take John McClane, you put him in a situation where you think that your average person would fuck it up and lose, and he comes out in the end. You throw in a really... Not even a really good villain, just a villain that has a solid plot. A thing that you... Okay, it's clear as day. In the first movie, it's about a heist. I mean, Hans Gruber makes it out to be something different, but it's a fucking heist, as John McClane would say. In the second movie... the Colonel is tired of the way the government's doing things, and he wants the fucking general guy released. A little bit. I mean, I haven't seen Die Hard 2 in a while, but you get the idea. Die Hard 3, Simon wants the gold out of Fort Knox. Or at least the New York version of Fort Knox. Die Hard 4, which I liked Die Hard 4's elements in the sense that John McClane was really out of place. Like they said in the movie, you know, he's a 20th century cop in a 21st century world. He doesn't get all this computer shit. He doesn't get phones and emails and the internet. But hey, he's still alive. He's still kicking ass. Because at the end of the day, he's going to win out. This movie, I can't even rant about it. I can't even just scream at it. I literally, I almost, if I wasn't with people at this movie, like if I went by myself, I probably would have walked out. And I've actually never done that. I've come close, but I stuck through it, and it turned out to be a decent movie. I almost walked out of this. I'm not a writer. I'm not somebody who's really great with words when talking to you on the camera. I can type and write, but when it comes to, you know, talking to you live here, I really can't express myself. It just wasn't a Die Hard movie. I mean, they've taken everything that makes the Die Hard series great, which really is the character of John McClane, and how, again, I can't reiterate this enough, how he's an everyday guy put in these situations, and he's a smartass to boot. This is not that movie. Don't watch the movie. Don't see it. Don't rent it. Don't give Fox any money for this movie. I hate to say it. I love Bruce Willis, but this movie sucked. This movie was bad. I would rather have not have seen this movie and saved the money and just come home and played Call of Duty, because that's what this was. It was like a fucking video game, and it's really disappointing. You guys have a good night.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!